Hi everyone, welcome to Yin Yoga for Cyclists. I'm Sarah Collins and welcome to my channel. So Yin Yoga, if you haven't done it before, is perfect for you guys as cyclists. It's a restorative style. We're going to hold the postures for longer and we're going to relax into them over time. This is going to do two things. It's going to give you a deeper stretch into the body. So over time, you reach the deeper tissues, the ligaments, the tendons, the fascia, the muscles themselves. So a very deep stretch and release for the areas that get tight for you guys. And second of all, this is going to switch your body down into the parasympathetic nervous system. This is your body's rest and restore mode. And this is where your body is going to recover really, really well after workout. So we'll focus on hips, hamstrings and lower back, the areas that get tight for you guys. And there'll be loads of options for you to modify to make it a little bit more gentle, a little bit more accessible if you need it. So before we begin, grab yourself a couple of things to help you modify your postures. A couple of cushions, so that can be whatever you've got on the sofa or on the bed, whatever the most substantial cushions you've got are. Grab yourself a belt. If you don't have a yoga belt like this one, no worries, just grab a belt from a dressing gown, works really well, or a leather belt, whatever you've got hanging around will work. Okay guys, let's begin. Come down onto your back to begin with. So you can bend the knees and allow the knees to rest in together, or you can lay your legs flat on the floor, whatever feels more comfortable for your lower back. Take your arms down to the floor for a moment and close the eyes. Allow your body to begin to give its weight over to the floor, so allow your muscles to begin to relax and let go. If you can, breathe in and out through the nose. Softening the muscles around the eyes, across the forehead, softening the jaw, the tongue, the throat. And just allow yourself a moment of stillness here before we begin. Allowing the muscles to begin to relax, any tension to begin to fall away. As I mentioned, Yin Yoga is a practice of letting go, of softening the body into the postures, and this is what allows that deep, deep stretch. So I'm going to be guiding you through relaxation within the postures as well. But we'll begin that process now. So each time you breathe out, just allow your body to let go a little bit more each time. Breathing out, letting go. Breathing out, letting go. Take a deep breath in through the nose, all the way up to the very top. And a nice long breath out through the nose, all the way down to the very end. One more deep breath in through the nose. And out through the nose, all the way down to the very end. Breathing normally now, becoming aware of the feeling of your own body, so make a body connection. Feel the feeling of all of the different parts of your body. Start to feel into the muscles, into the tissues. And just give yourself a few more moments of breathing out and letting go. Breathing out and letting go. There's nothing forceful about a Yin Yoga practice, so as you allow your body to let go, don't try and force it, just allow the tension to fall away. Sometimes what we need, the recovery, is found through stillness, it's found through letting go, through allowing tension to fall away. Okay, guys, so feet come together, hands come together, take the arms up above you, stretch through every inch of your body from head to toe. And we're going to stay on our backs for our first posture, taking hold of whatever belt you've had. Keep your left leg bent and take the belt up around the right foot. And important here that you put the belt around the pad of your foot, so not around the arch. We want it around the pad of the foot, and that's going to give us a lovely stretch through the calf muscle. So keeping that left leg bent still, you can start to straighten this right leg. Some of you will stop halfway and that will be enough for you. Some of you will be able to straighten a little more. Some of you will want to straighten completely. We're all really, really different here, so just whatever works for you. So whatever point you are here, I want you to allow your shoulders to relax back into the earth. Allow your arms to relax and get kind of heavy, so they stay hold of the belt, but as you relax the weight of the arms, it kind of pulls down on the foot and draws the toes towards the shins. So you should feel a stretch through the back of the ankle, through the back of the calf, and the more you straighten your leg, the more stretch you will get through the hamstrings as well. So this may look more like this for you, or more of a straight leg. The shoulders are soft and we are allowing the toes to drop towards the shins more and more over time. And if you want to challenge yourself more, if the leg is straight, you're perfectly happy here, just straighten that left leg down to the floor as well. Close the eyes again. Just take a moment to have a little play around with your positioning. Find that perfect edge. So in Yin, we're always talking about edge. We want something that feels like we're getting a good amount of stretch, but it should never feel really aggressive, forceful, really sharp and painful. If you're at that point of desperate to get out and you're pushing really hard into your body, you've gone too far with Yin. And the thing with this is that we tend to think that the harder we push, the more we achieve. And often that is true. That's certainly true on the bike, okay? But when it comes to stretching the body, the more you push into the muscles, the more forceful and aggressive you become, the more likely they are to lock up and not allow you in. So if the body feels safe, the body will open up. And for that reason, we find a point, we find an edge, not too little. We want to feel something, but not too much. We don't want to force our way in. Closing the eyes if you haven't already, and just check in with the body. Is there any tension in the shoulders that could be softened? Maybe around the hips. So allow your body to become as soft and relaxed as possible. Breathing out, letting go. Breathing out, letting go. So you maintain the posture. You allow that unneeded, unwanted tension to fall away gradually. And having the leg raised in this way, really, really good for recovery in the legs, really good for just flushing through that lactic acid buildup after a ride. We're stretching through the hamstrings, through the calves. So nice smooth breaths in and out through the nose. Letting your belly rise as you breathe in. Belly falls as you breathe out. Could you relax the ankle, let the toes drop towards the shins a little more, stretch a little bit more through the calf. Maybe you want to straighten your leg a little bit more, get a little bit more hamstring stretch. But again, that perfect edge, not too little, not too much. guys. So releasing the belt, taking the leg back down. Just take a moment to take the hands around the back of the calf muscle and just point and flex the toes back and forth. Maybe circle the feet a little bit one way and then the other. Good, so I'm going to take that leg down. We'll come over onto the left side. You may feel a difference between each side, just to warn you, so you might do a slightly different version. So you can have this right leg bent to begin with, and just taking the belt around the pad of the foot, straightening the leg gradually, pushing the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. Don't worry if you stay very bent here and that's where you're getting loads of stretch down the back here, and not as much maybe through the back of the thigh. Don't worry too much. Wherever you need to be stretched, you'll be stretched. So wherever is tightest, it will get there first. So just work on wherever it's getting to, and things will progress over time. So you just be where you are with it. Let your body be whatever it's going to be today. If you want to straighten, you can straighten. If you want to straighten the right leg down too, you can. So we just ease in gradually. We don't have to come right up to our maximum straight away. We just kind of come maybe, 3/4 of the way there, and then or half of the way there, and then we gradually deepen as the body invites you in deeper. Let the arms relax, let the shoulders soften back into the earth, let the weight of the arms pull down on the pad of the foot, bringing the toes towards the shins. Closing the eyes, breathing through the nose. It's important to let the belly rise as you breathe in and fall as you breathe out. This activates that parasympathetic nervous system and steps your body into recovery. So in Yin, there's a meditative practice that runs alongside the postures. We have the time, so close the eyes. Let yourself just check in with your body. Start to feel the feeling of your own body. So you go from thinking into feeling. Start to feel the feeling of your own body. You feel into muscles, you feel into the tissues, and you just start to allow tension to fall away that doesn't need to be there. So although the arms may be working, maybe the hips could soften a little, maybe the face could soften a little, maybe the jaw or the throat. So just let yourself have a little scan around, just finding little ways to let go as you breathe out. And if the mind wanders, just gently bring yourself back. And at the beginning, you have to be quite repetitive with that. The mind will want to wander off. And you have to just have a commitment to return to this body connection, just sitting with the body, feeling into the body, breathing into the body, letting things soften, allowing things to let go. There's an awful lot of mental focus that we build during Yin as well, which again transfers onto the bike. If your body wants you to step a little deeper, then do. Straighten the leg, maybe draw the toes towards the shins a little more, whatever feels right, or back away if you need to as well, if it's getting too strong. Breathing out, finding little ways to let go. Muscles that don't need to be activated. Take a few more breaths here. Okay guys, so bending the leg, releasing the belt, and you won't need that again. Take hold around the back of the thigh and just circle the toes one way. Circle the toes the other. The other thing we were doing there was stretching through the muscles along the bottom of the feet, along the arches of the feet that can become problematic over time if you're a cyclist or a runner. Okay, so we're going to roll to the side, press into the palm and come up to a seated position. So let's come into what's called half butterfly. Awesome stretch for the lower back, really going to work through the hamstrings still. So take your right foot in close, let your knee fall out to the side. If any of you get any pain in the knee or anything that's too sharp in the hip in this posture, grab one of your cushions and get a cushion under that leg for support. If any of you find when we're down here that it's way too harsh along the back of this leg, you could also, or instead you could get a cushion under here. Okay, so reaching the crown up tall towards the ceiling, lean the body forwards, and then allow your body to begin to relax down. So as you relax, your spine rounds, your head will drop forwards, and your arms can just place themselves wherever is most relaxing to your upper arms and shoulders. So come into this gradually. Do not worry if you're chuckling away to yourself because you're sitting up here somewhere and as you relax forward your body went and that was it. So don't worry if that's the case. Just that's where you need to be. That's totally fine. I see that all the time, really common. So just let your body relax to wherever it's going to relax to. Some people like to have their hands on the floor. Some people actually like to tuck their hands under the leg. But we want to be relaxing into this. So I don't want anyone to be grabbing hold, pulling their way in, trying to make this happen. It's just a relaxation, letting go into the posture gradually. Now, wherever you're tightest, you will feel this, either more down the backs of the leg or more in your lower back. So wherever is tightest, it'll get there first. And that's perfect. That's what we want. Let your head drop forwards, let your neck relax. If there's anything going on in the neck that needs support, you could, instead of using the cushions under the legs, you could rest them in front of you. And for those of you that are feeling super tight here, so much so that you feel like you're having to kind of reach forward, you feel like you want to grab hold of your clothing and pull yourself in, I'm going to give you the option to sit up onto a cushion. This works really well. Sit right to the edge of your cushion. And then as you lean into this, you should feel your hips rocking forwards a little bit more, and that will lean you into the posture. So all that was happening there was your hips were rocking back because your hamstrings are tight, they're pulling them that way. And if we can just sit up onto a cushion, rock those hips forward, it just leans you into this posture a little bit nicer. So feel free to experiment with sitting on the edge of a cushion and see if that feels really good to you or not. And then you might say, oh, actually that feels great, but now I'm going to get a cushion under the leg. So everything that we're doing here is trying to achieve a stretch that's just enough, not too much. So the more you support your body and find that perfect edge, the more benefit you will gain from this practice. So don't be afraid to experiment, try out these options I'm showing you. And when you feel ready, closing the eyes. Where are you tensing that you don't need to be? Could you soften the upper arms, the shoulders? Could you soften the neck and drop the head? Soften the face. Allow your body to become almost like a rag doll in this pose. You can completely give your weight over to gravity, over to the posture. Breathing out, letting go. Breathing out, letting go. Yin Yoga is a practice of surrender, of letting go physically, first of all, but then letting go mentally as we get deeper into our practice. So for now, just be here, feel the feeling of the body. And each time you breathe out, allow your body to let go a little bit more. that mind becomes really chatty at any point, just practice letting go mentally. So whatever comes into that mind, as you breathe out, you just let it fall away from you. Practicing in this way, allowing the mind to be less powerful, being less attached to following the mind around, and more willing to just let the mind fall away. When the relationship with the mind changes, it becomes something that can be there, and then we can just let it fall away. We give it less power. It's just a little area of this practice I want to point out to you, because it may not be obvious that there's definitely mental benefits from practicing a yoga practice. It definitely gives you like a mental resilience, if you like. So each time in your practice today that you feel that mind getting busy, just breathing out, letting it fall away. I'm going to take a few more breaths here on this side. Okay guys, so slowly walking the hands back in. And when you come out of a yin posture, you tend to feel fragile, you tend to feel kind of really stiff. So move slowly, take the knee back to center before you drop the leg down. And we're going to come straight over onto the other side. So we're going to take the left foot in, straighten the right leg, left knee out to the side. That foot can tuck in towards that thigh. You can have cushions under the legs, you can have cushions on the lap to rest into, as I've shown you before. Be prepared that the other side of the body could be a little bit different as we relax forward. So sit up tall first, lean forwards, and then relaxing down slowly, taking your time. No rush. Just slowly, slowly, allowing the body to soften. And we all have those little pockets of tension and gripping within the body. And this practice is really nice in that it allows us to just close the eyes and tune in, to begin to notice where we may be gripping or resisting or holding on. To invite the body over time to begin to release and relax some of that tension. Breathing out, letting go, whether it's physical tension or mental activity. Each time you breathe out, there is an opportunity to let go. Breathing out, letting go. Breathing out, letting go. So I will remind you from time to time. If you've wandered off with the mind and you really dug into some kind of story or analysis or activity in the mind, let the subject, let the thought fall away. You're softening the activity, the effort in the body. You're softening the effort and the activity mentally. Coming into physical rest, coming into mental rest. And we don't force, we can't make that rest happen. All we can do is just keep breathing out and finding little ways to let go. Last few breaths on this side. Slowly working your way back up. Walk the hands in. Expect to be a little bit stiff as you lean back onto your hands. Take both of your feet in this time. Drop your knees down to one side, look in the opposite direction, and switch between the two. Keep your breath smooth, your shoulders, your face soft. You may notice the breath wants to hold. Remember to breathe down into the belly. Let the belly rise as you breathe in. Maybe take some slightly deeper breaths if that helps you release any stress or tension in the body. Okay guys, so we are ready for our next posture. So hip flexors are hugely important. So let's come onto all fours. Your hip flexors are on the front of your hips here. Understandably become very tight in cyclists. So with this posture, if you're on carpeted floor, you'll probably be fine. If you're not, you may need to pad the back knee. So if you've got a cushion or a blanket handy, you can get that under the back knee. If you don't, you can roll your mat up and have, if you've got a yoga mat, you can have that underneath. So that will become clear in a moment. So stepping the right foot through and coming into a runner's lunge. Take the hands either side and we want to relax the hips. So we want to let the back leg draw backwards and we want to keep this knee directly over this ankle. So if we want to go deeper, we let the back leg extend behind us rather than anything change with this positioning here of this leg. So the fingertips may be resting into the floor. You may be flat on your hands. We're all just different lengths in the arms. That's fine. You can have a cushion under each hand, or if you have a yoga block, you can have a yoga block under each hand if you want to, and that makes things a little easier. Soften through your shoulders. Don't get too tense around the shoulders. Make sure that back knee is padded if it's digging into the floor and causing any pain. Okay guys, so relaxing through the hips. The more you let go, the more the hips will drop and lower towards the floor. The stance will widen and you'll get that deep stretch through the front of this left thigh, this the hip flexor in here, the psoas muscle as well. And you'll also feel something along the back of the leg that's in front of you, so the right leg at the moment. Soft through the shoulders. Soften any tension that can be softened. The more you relax, the more you'll feel this. If this is screaming at you, and it quite possibly is, you can take a cushion or two cushions up against this back thigh. And that will give a little bit of support to your body should you need it. So there's nothing we need to be doing here. As humans, we are doers, achievers. Yin practice is calling us to just be rather than do. So just be here and breathe. Allow this practice to unfold. There's nothing that needs to be done, nothing that needs to be pushed forward or strived for. Just breathe, allow your body to let go. And over time, these deep stretches will work their way into the body. We're working with the muscles, but we're working with ligaments, tendons, fascia, and these are tissues that they only really lengthen within postures that are long held and passive like this. So the longer we're here, the more we let go, the more effectively we reach that deeper tissue. And that deeper tissue, ligaments, tendons, but especially fascia, is really, really concentrated around your joints and becomes really tight over time. Especially with cyclists, you're never really using the full range of your joint. So over time, that fascia becomes very tight and it essentially shrink wraps your joints, makes them really stiff and tight. And that affects all kinds of things on and off the bike. So if we're here in these postures and we're there for a longer time, we're being soft, we're being passive, we're letting go, we're going to really effectively kind of bypass muscles and get into that deep, deep connective tissue. And in a lot of people, actually, it's the connective tissue that's more of a problem than the muscles themselves. So it needs to be reached, it needs to be released. If you want to come deeper, take your hands or your arms up to lean into that front leg. This gets quite a lot more intense If you're a glutton for punishment, I shouldn't say that. Or if your body is inviting you in deeper, you can come up to be taller. Hands resting into the legs, so the weight of the head, the body is all coming down into the hips now as we let go. If that gets too much, you just lean forwards again, or you come down onto your hands or your fingertips. Don't be aggressive. This is just an option, so don't feel that you have to deepen. If you were down on your hands and that was enough for you, you stay there. I'm just giving you options. Let that belly rise and fall. Don't let that breath start to be held up in the chest. Let it drop down into the belly. A few more breaths here. It may look still and simple, this practice, but it sure can be challenging. That's why that perfect edge is so important. Taking the hands down, breathe a sigh of relief if that was super challenging for you, which I'm guessing for many of you it will be. Straighten your front leg, take it around in front of you. Just kneeling for a moment, just breathe. Maybe you want to give the shoulders a little bit of movement back and forth. Maybe you want to stretch your arms up for a moment. You're going to take some deeper breaths. Okay, we'll come to the other side. Take your left foot forwards in front of you into this lunge position once more. Knee directly over ankle. If you need to widen the stance, this right leg moves back. You should be feeling a strong stretch through the front of the right leg and through the back of this left leg. If you're not feeling anything, it's because that back leg hasn't gone far back enough. You haven't dropped and relaxed into this. You need to let go, let the weight of the body drop into the hips, let the hips widen and lower. Okay, soften those shoulders. If you're not liking being on fingertips, some people don't, you can make a fist with the hands if your hands aren't flat on the floor. Breathe into the belly, soften where you can. Nothing needs to be done mentally either, so if the mind's analysing, judging, trying to understand, trying to remember, trying to do something, you can just soften your mind away from that mental effort. Nothing needs to be thought about right now. You can just be here and breathe. No doing, just being. Remembering this is a practice, so especially the internal practice that runs alongside this physical practice. It's never perfect. What I'm describing to you is this perfect scenario, but the mind will continue to distract you. It will be busy, it will want to think and do, and tension will creep its way back into the body, so it doesn't look perfect. All you need to do is just let yourself be here, and each time you breathe out, find some little way to let go. Let go of your body tension, let go of your mental tension and activity. Each breath out is just an opportunity. Yin and Yang, so you understand, is just two different energies. Yang is activation, it's doing, it's trying, it's effort, it's making things happen. Yin is softening, allowing, surrendering, being rather than doing. It's a lack of effort and doing, it's a presence, a being. little deeper if you want here for the last minute or so. You might lean onto your forearms, you might come all the way up. If you wobble like I did there, sometimes your balance goes here and you prefer, you can take that front foot a little wider and that'll give you a wider base to relax into. Keep those shoulders soft. If your body's wanting to tense up here, you've gone too deep. So back away from that edge. So you should be able to relax your body. Relax your shoulders, keep your face soft, your jaw soft. So if you start to hold on, there's a sign you've gone a little bit too far. A few more breaths here. Is there any way to let go? Anywhere that can soften? Okay. Taking your hands down if you came up higher. Straightening that front leg, moving slowly. You will feel stiff and fragile on the way out. Leaning back for a moment. Just take a few breaths before we move on. We're going to move into a stretch for the outer hip area and deep into the hip. Now I'm going to show you this pose. If it's too intense, I'm going to give you an alternative posture after. So if it's too much, especially for the knees, just hold out for that alternative option. So we're going to come onto all fours again and we're going to take the right leg forward. So the right knee comes forwards and then we take this foot up a little bit higher. Now, this left leg will drop back behind us. We'll soften the shoulders once more. If any of you are super flexible, you take this foot up higher to get more stretch. So you could be at the right angle to the mat, you could be anywhere in between. But as you bring the foot closer towards the heel, more towards the groin, it becomes more easy to deal with. If this is really challenging, you can have a cushion under the hip. You can tuck a cushion under the hip on the side of the bent leg. Okay, so that can give you a nice amount of support here. Pad under that back knee if you need to. And just take a moment here. If you want to get a little deeper into this, you can come down onto your forearms. Maybe that feels a little bit too much. Maybe you lean into cushions. Or maybe the body is super comfortable and you just want to come down to lay flat. You could move in stages. You could do forearms first and then laying flat. For those of you that need that alternative option, if your body is screaming at you, come down onto your back. Take your right foot up onto your left knee. Reach through and take hold around the back of that left thigh. If you're struggling to get hold, you could use your belt from earlier, so you could wrap that around the knee. Take hold through the middle. And as you relax back, that'll give you something to hold on to. So around the thigh is more gentle, around the knee is deeper. You can cushion under the back of the head if you need to as well. So that's your alternative posture. Finding little ways to let go. It's our only job. Soft face, soft shoulders. Get into the habit of scanning around. Feeling through, feeling into different areas of the body. Building a connection with your body. I've done a lot of talking, I've done a lot of explanation, so as we get towards the end of our last couple of postures, I'll become more quiet and give you more space So just practice this art of letting go. Remember to let that belly rise and fall. A few more breaths here. Okay, so if you lowered, you walk the hands back up, tuck the back toe under, and just drop back into tabletop position again. Just rock the hips from side to side a few times, loosen things up. Taking the left leg in front of you, dropping the right leg back. Cushion can come under this thigh if you want to. Staying on straight arms. And I do recommend staying on straight arms at least for a little while. When your body starts to invite you in deeper, if it does, you can come lower to forearms or all the way down to the floor. If you are in that alternative posture, the right foot comes up onto the left knee. This time we take hold around the back of the right thigh. Or we take hold around the right knee. If you are challenged in the body, can you just allow that to be there? So always if there's sharp pain, anything aggressive, we listen to that and we adjust our posture accordingly. If we're just challenged by the sensation of stretch, or even we can be challenged mentally, emotionally on the mat as well. Can we just allow whatever challenge is there to just be there rather than trying to mentally fight against it or get away from it? This is the other side of yin, is this allowing. So rather than trying to fight or change or force or push, there's this very allowing things to just be, allowing and accepting. You put down the fight, you put down the resistance and the struggle. And you just allow things to be. Breathing out, letting go. Breathing out, letting go. So enjoying a few more breaths here. Take deeper breaths whenever you need to. Pressing your palms into the floor, tucking the back toes under to come back to that tabletop position. Just rock those hips from side to side a couple of times. We're moving on to our last posture now. We're going to do, it's called Reclined Butterfly, and I have saved the best till last because I love this pose. So coming around, you'll definitely need your cushions for this one. So you can stack 1 or 2 cushions behind you. And we're just going to lay back over the cushions. This is all about reversing so much time spent curling the body in forward. So we're going to just lay the body back, open up the chest, open up the shoulders, and lay the head to the floor. If you need a cushion under the back of the head, you can. Take your heels close in, and let's get a hip stretch too. So let's take the knees out to the sides. Let the thighs and the hips relax. You can place cushions under the backs of the thighs if you get any pain in the knees. Reversing any damage that's done from having the spine rounded for so long. The chest can get very tight as well, so I invite you to just take your arms either out to the sides in like a cactus kind of shape, or some people even like tucking the fingers around the back of their head and just letting the arms fall out to the sides. So really just whatever gets into your chest, the best for you. And this one we really can soften into, so really allow your body to give its weight over to the floor each time you breathe out. Again, if it's difficult to relax, perhaps we've gone too deep, too far. Middle ground, not too little, feel the stretch, not too much. You should be able to be there and let go. So there's a bit of a fine art to a yin practice in that way. Breathing out, letting go. It's our only job on the mat in yin. To just be here and find little ways to let go physically, mentally. So just know the more you practice this, the more benefits you'll see, and this yin yoga practice really does deepen over time. Not just in terms of how the body opens up and that flexibility is increased, but the calming of the nervous system becomes like a learned response in your body. So you'll step down out of stress, out of fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system, and step down into rest and restore mode more quickly. And your body will step down there more often even after your practice. And the mental resilience as well, relationship with the body, all of that internal stuff that goes on, all those added extras, it all deepens over time. So I do recommend practicing regularly. Either this practice or one of my many other yoga practices I have on the channel. So just spend the last few minutes here, just over a minute and a half left, just enjoying the stillness, the softness in the muscles, the feeling of deep stretch in the body. A little bit of space and time to breathe a little deeper, let some stuff go. Take a few more breaths in. Okay, so you're going to take your feet in together. I want you to press into your feet and just lift your hips up for a moment and just drop them up and down just a few times, just like a little bit of gentle movement, nothing too strenuous. And then rolling over slowly onto your right side. Don't be afraid if your back feels super fragile on the way out of this one. That's so normal. Even my back feels that way. Just bend the legs for a moment, rest over the legs, just a counteractive measure. Relax the neck, the head, just let the spine curl forwards. Time for a well-earned closing Shavasana. So you could have a cushion under the backs of your legs or just bend the legs, let the knees rest in together as we did before. Laying down onto your back, you could have a cushion under the back of the head as well. Close the eyes, take the arms out to the sides. Our closing Shavasana is really important. It allows your body to absorb and digest everything that we've just done on all levels. Physical, mental, energetic, emotional. Just close the eyes, allow the face to be soft, allow breath to come and go through the nose. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Each time you breathe out, allow your body to give its weight over to the floor a little bit more. So feeling the contact between the back of the body and the floor. Noticing the feeling of the weight of the body resting into the solidity of the floor beneath you. And each time you breathe out, allowing your body to get a little bit heavier and sink a little bit deeper into that support of the floor beneath you. And I'm just going to become quiet for a couple of minutes, just give you some space, some silence, some stillness. And I'll let you know when it's time to move once more. So take a deep breath in through your nose. All the way up to the top, out through the mouth this time, all the way down to the end, taking the feet together, taking the hands together, stretching from fingers to toes. Good. Rolling slowly onto your right side. Take a moment there just to allow the body to adjust before we come up. Pressing your palm into the floor. Coming up into a comfortable cross-legged position, eyes are closed or gaze is low. We'll bring the palms together at heart center as we always do to end our yoga practice, bowing the head to the fingertips. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. So thank you very much, guys, for being here with me for this practice. I hope this brings you benefit. Practice regularly for best results. I have loads of other yoga videos on the channel for you to check out, and all very similar style to what we've done today. If you enjoyed, then please hit that like button and leave me a comment. Let me know how you got on. I love to hear from you guys. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, hit subscribe, hit the little bell, and that way you'll be notified each time a video goes live. And once more, thanks for choosing this video. See you next time, guys.